This video exposes a tiny segment of my wonderful life. However, the true intent is to encourage parents to be very serious and honest in the way we view and deal with our children. Perhaps I was privileged to have exceptional parents, as I was not taught to fear my parents. Love and understanding was the ethics. This is for those country boys and girls who have or had their own horse when they were kids. Is it good horse sense or just pony savvy? Boys and girls, realize how fortunate you are and be grateful that the concrete and asphalt jungles were not your playground. Country life is a luxury and a great privilege. Those precious days of childhood. When I was a teenager, I truly appreciated my horse. His name was Cowboy. He was well up in years when we first became good friends. When he was young, he raced for 2 years. However, he was an exceptional cutter. The combination of racing and a great cutter made his performance spectacular, even at his age. This is how it all took place. My senior brother, by 11 years, was with me. We had realized that the 2 big workhorses and Cowboy had escaped to the neighbor's domain. It seemed that Cowboy had a conscience. He knew they were not where they belonged. He even looked guilty. My brother informed me that we should go to the barn first, and at least fetch the bridle for Cowboy. My response was that we needed no bridle. Cowboy knew more about herding those horses in than we did, and he knew they were not to be at the neighbor's. My brother was unaware of Cowboy being a cutter. My brother doubted that I could even catch Cowboy, but Cowboy responded to me as good as any dog to his master. I was soon on his back and cruising at full speed. Cowboy needed no instructions. He knew what he had to do. My brother could not understand how I could do anything without a bridle. He did not know how intelligent Cowboy was. At first he was a little tense, fearing that I might be hurt, bareback and no bridle. However, when it was all over, he was very astonished and told me he was laughing through much of the event. He could see daylight between the horse and me much of the time. My brother had not realized that Cowboy would jump over that sagebrush instead of going around them. He said it was a funny sight with Cowboy flying over that tall sagebrush and with me flying just a little above him. Those who have ever ridden a great cutter in action know that you have to be at least half horse to stay with them without a saddle, and there is absolutely no reason to have a bridle, as they know more about the maneuvers than the rider does. However, it is not all that mysterious. Bareback with experience, the rider can tell by the feel of the horse's body what the horse is going to do. Otherwise, the rider would soon have his nose in the dirt. On a straight run, those workhorses could perhaps outrun old Cowboy. Cowboy had seen his better days. But it seems that some cutters have special psychic powers. The cutter knows where the animal is going before the animal knows where it is going. It was my first time on a cutter bareback with no bridle. It was not long and the workhorses were back home, and we were on our way to the barn. Then is when I lost my good horse senses. Now comes the amusing part of the event, but very embarrassing at the time. On the way back to the barn there was a ditch to cross. Because of what Cowboy had been through, I did not plan to make him jump the ditch. Though we would not have had a problem making the jump, we would just walk through it. So, not really thinking of the consequences, I told Cowboy to stop, and he did. He set all fours and I went flying over his head into the ditch. I wasn't hurt, but it sure sharpened up my horse senses or my pony savvy. I did not expect Cowboy to apologize. More than likely he felt sorry for me. It was truly embarrassing. A dog is known as the human's best friend. Those who think that may not have ever had a horse for a friend. However, both animals have their place in that fortunate child's life. Neither could take the place of the other. Some of us may not realize what a heavy footprint youth leaves in adult life. We could compare a child to a log chain. Perhaps none of you out there has ever tried to push a log chain. It cannot be done. You have to pull it if you get it to where you need it to go. In a successful family, parents are role models, not dictators. Leading is much more successful than commanding. Our mother never commanded. She asked us. It would have been very difficult to refuse with her kind and loving attitude. We raised all of the calves from our dairy herd. It seems that even animals have spirits. Some were wild, and some tame, all with the same care. This one heifer followed us like a dog. As soon as she seen us enter the pasture, which we had to go through to get to the fields, she was there. When we entered the fields to work, she would stand at the fence and watch us for quite some time. It is much easier and cheaper to furnish a pet mouse for a pet for your child. However, it has no comparison to a dog or a horse, and the value for what it does for the child's development. Then a dog and a horse, they are not pets. They are a relationship and a friend. In those childhood days, I knew nothing of this senseless and erotic society, with its deceit and greed. I was just an ignorant kid, viewing the world as very huge compared to the tiny world that it is now. Have a great heyday and make good uses of your horse senses or pony savvy. At the age of 83, I am very grateful for those great memories of my youth. Compared to today, it was like living on another planet. I now work full-time at tile setting. I only write and make videos in my spare time. Today, I am very concerned with the future of the youth. Some may think that those who never cease to search are unstable in mind, immature, or dissatisfied with life. However, for those who have it all, that is all you will ever have. When we cease to search, our true life has vanished. We just exist. The voice in this video is that of Jay Powell, a true dedicated friend of yours and mine. Until next time, sweet dreams. Truth will solve all our problems before we create them. And ignore or reject the truth, problems multiply all by themselves. Have a great and meaningful life. Just whispers of the ghost of reality.